Could everybody hear me? Give me a one if you can hear me. Please give me a one if you can hear me. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what happened, y'all. But am I shocked? No. But I'm glad you can hear me. Good. All right. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Shalom to everybody in the chat. All right. All right. So we're going to talk about Diddy, and there's an update. And Suge, he pretty much gave a jailhouse warning, and he is telling P. Diddy that his life is in danger. His life is in danger right now. And y'all, let's be real. The feds are involved in this investigation on Diddy. This don't look good for him at all. It is not looking good at all. I don't know if any of you saw some of the videos that were coming out when he got raided. One of the videos that came out was a neighbor that lived directly across the street from Diddy. And it was a black man. And he said he lived in the mansion across the street. And he was in a car in the driveway. And you could clearly see Diddy's mansion was right across the street from where he was. And you could clearly see it was a driveway he was in. And and you know how those mansions got those long driveways. That's what he was sitting in. But he was in a car. And he said he saw he would see buses of underage children over there and the kids getting off the bus. He would see the whole thing. And he said they would have all kinds of wild parties. This was in LA, in LA. And he said it would be loud at 3 a.m. from the parties going on over there. And he said he just never called the police because he didn't want to be the kind of person that calls the police on his neighbors. He didn't want to get into that. So he said he just put up with the noise. He just dealt with it because, you're a black man in America. You don't want to get no cops involved. So he never called the cops on Diddy, but he said he has these loud, loud parties over there. And this was, yes, he said there would be buses of underage children going over there. He would see it and he would hear all the loud music. So, I mean, that was really deep. And like I said, when he was talking, you could clearly see Diddy's mansion right across the street where the feds were. And he says, I just live right. He's my neighbor. And they talked to another person on the same street. They said they didn't even know Diddy lived on the street. They were shocked to find out, and they said it's not unusual because, a lot of the people they try to keep to themselves. So you may have a neighbor in a rich neighborhood and you may actually never meet them because either they're not living there full time, they may be there part of the year, but not all year, or they just try to stay as private as possible. So, so there was a neighbor on the street that didn't even know Diddy was there. And then this one guy said he knows he was there and he has all these wild parties over there. So let's get into what Suge said. I don't know how long it's going to be before there is an arrest, but I'm just feeling there's going to be. I mean, they are closing in on Diddy. In the beginning, when a lot of us said, oh, I don't think he did this or did that. I don't know anymore, but I do know I did see pictures of his LA mansion where one of the raids were and the other one was in Miami, and they ransacked that mansion. I mean, it's like they turned everything over. They bust open safes. I saw how they just tore the closets apart. They really messed his mansion up big time. They messed it up. All right, so let's get into what Suge recently said. So Suge Knight warns Diddy his life is in danger. And, Suge didn't put this out randomly. He got a phone call from the press behind bars, and then Suge spoke to them. So it's not like he just antagonized the whole thing. They actually went to him. So music executive Suge Knight has warned his longtime hip hop rival P. Diddy that his life is in danger after federal agents raided his home in Florida and California. And, there were clips of the feds there. Now, in Miami, they came in boats and they came by, vehicles. And there's a bunch of water behind the mansion there. That's why they were able to go in with boats. That's how the feds went in there. So, Suge is currently serving a 28-year sentence for voluntary manslaughter. Knight kicked off the clip praying for Diddy's kids before he blasted the 54-year-old singer for giving the culture of hip hop a bad image. Well, I mean, Suge, you didn't exactly give it a good image yourself. I don't know what he's talking about. I'll tell you what, Puffy, your life is in danger because you know the secrets. Who's involved in the little secret rooms you guys are participating in, Knight said, 58, allegedly said in an audio clip. He said they're going to get you if they can. Knight went on to encourage Diddy to turn himself into authorities, as Knight did following a hit and run in 2015 that resulted in the death of Terry Carter. And I turned myself in. That's what Knight said. Sometimes you got to face the music. That's most of the time. He took a moment to give Diddy some real advice if he ends up behind bars. You got to make a decision. When you go to prison, you're going to be standing up, pissing and squatting, sitting down, pissing, Knight said, advising him to take the first option. He then warned Diddy not to use his newest nickname, Brother Love, if he ends up behind bars. Yeah, I can understand where that's coming from. He told him, don't come in there calling yourself no Brother Love, and he told him, do not do your time by the name of Brother Love. Or Brother Love is not a good code name for prison. This is what he's telling him. Knight said before ending the call, during the recent episode of his podcast, Knight briefly allotted that where his longstanding beef with Diddy started. Yeah, you know what? They do allow the inmates to have podcasts. So I'm not surprised that Suge has one. I know Mumia has one too. He has a podcast. Quite a few of these inmates do, especially if they're famous behind bars. They do allow them to do that. So, but I never listened to one of Suge Knight's podcasts. I might look it up and see, just to hear what he says. But it's not unusual. There are a couple of them. In fact, one of the inmates, this was a couple of years back, reached out to me. And he had a podcast, but I never heard of this dude. But he was behind bars, and he said he admired my YouTube channel. I don't know how he heard me from behind bars, but he did. And he had a podcast. And when I looked him up, he really had a podcast. I just can't remember his name right now. So Knight explains how his his friend Big Jake, was killed during a party in Atlanta in 1995, which suggests that kicked off in, decades of hostility between him and Diddy. Oh, that's where it went wrong. Suge Knight, one of his friends, got killed at a 1995 party, which suggests, that caused a hostility between him and Diddy. I wonder if he had something to do with it. Their beef also stemmed from the notorious East Coast, West Coast rap beef in the 90s with Knight's record label, Death Row Records, and Diddy's label, Bad Boy Records, at the forefront of the feud. Federal agents descended on Diddy's home in Miami and Los Angeles on Monday as they probe trafficking charges against the embattled a music mogul. Now, there was a story that came out this morning that I saw, and it says that Clive Davis is actually mixed up in this whole thing too. But we haven't really heard his name a lot. We've been hearing Diddy all this time, but they said no, Clive Davis's hands are not clean in this whole thing. So, videos from the raid at Combs' $40 million California home showed his sons, Justin and Christian. Yeah, they were handcuffed, but they were let go when they were in the mansion. And when the feds got in there, they handcuffed both of his sons and took them out, but they were eventually let go. And they were questioned by the police as several agents with guns swarmed the property. His attorneys have ripped the raids. Yes. Yeah. The attorney called it a witch hunt. I did see that, and promised to disprove the rumors and allegations surrounding him. Diddy is also known as Sean Combs. He has been named in numerous civil suits, and all they said at least four, and one Jane Doe, one John Doe connection with trafficking allegations in a RICO case. He has not been arrested or charged to any of the crimes despite newly revealed involvement of the federal government. However, allegations that Diddy paid women for have surfaced since. Yeah, and one of those women that's claiming they were paid was 50 Cent's ex. And I don't know, y'all, but there are a lot of people saying that because 50 has been dragging Diddy for quite some time, and a lot of people are saying 50 Cent is full of crap too. He ain't all the way squeaky clean himself. But y'all, this is a mess. This is really, truly a mess. Whether you are down with Diddy or not, this just don't look good. And in my opinion, Diddy is not going to be free too much longer. I really don't think he's going to be free too much longer. But I kind of agree with Suge. Don't go in there calling yourself Brother Love. They may take that literally. You don't want a bunch of male inmates taking that literally. You know what I mean? You may not want that. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me say my thank you. Angela, thank you for becoming a new channel member. Man Scott, thank you for the super sticker. And Michael Merriweather, thank you for the super chat. The feds wanted the videos Puff had on famous people in compromised positions, that his ace in the hole. If the feds get those vids, he's done. Yeah, well, Michael, I'm glad you brought that up because they busted open and they showed picture. You could see pictures of it. They bust open all of the safes that they found at his mansion and took the contents out of the safe. Now, whether those videos or CDC or what, like not CDC, but CDs were there or DVDs or whatever he had it on, I don't know, because they have not revealed what were in those safes. But they literally busted open the safes, and you could see like inside of this one closet is like completely ransacked. And, from what I was reading, they said the LA house was probably the worst that got ransacked the worst. Now, I don't know how bad Miami was. I'm sure they did tear it apart. After all, it's the feds. They don't give a crap. And look, probably jealous because a black man is living like that. We know them federal agents can't live large like that. And out of jealousy, they could have done a lot of it. So, you know, yeah. So they didn't reveal what was found or anything about the contents, but they said, from the articles I was reading, they took quite a few things out of that house. Electronics, and certain items they took out of the they took quite a few things out. And when his sons were no longer handcuffed and they were allowed to go, they said they packed up and got the hell out of there. They flew out of there after that happened. They both just went in there, got their clothes, got their suitcases, and left. I don't blame them. I think I would have gotten out of there after being raided by the feds. I would not have been comfortable being there. Mm-mm. You gotta look at the circumstances. Did he do some of it? Chances are he did. But if he goes down, you think the federal government is not gonna take those mansions? They're gonna take those mansions. His kids are not gonna be able to keep those mansions, and especially if the crimes that he's being, accused of took place in those, they're gonna confiscate those mansions. They're gonna just take them. Mhm. Lisa Jackson, thank you for the super chat. The evidence was probably, on his jet, which flew. Now, let me see. Let me try to pull that up. It kinda got out of range. The evidence was probably on his jet, which flew to the Caribbean. Yeah, but he might, from what I understand, during that whole raid, he never was at that mansion. He was at the airport, but they said he was the whole time he was never at the mansion, just his sons were. Now, I could believe maybe his sons might have took something out that could have been good evidence. When they packed up, they could have packed up some things that, maybe the feds missed and they left out with it. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities. Yeah. Well, his twin girls are almost of age. I believe they're 17 now. From what I think that's how old I saw they were. They're 17 years old now. They're still underage, but they're almost 18. Mhm. You know what, y'all? If Suge got 28 years, if they put Diddy in there, y'all, I don't think Diddy is ever gonna come out. I really think when they finally close in and arrest Diddy, I think this is really it for him. I don't think he's gonna see another free day for the rest of his life. I really don't. I think they're gonna find a way to keep him in there for good. Even if they can't connect him with a death, remember that's what happened to Nature Boy. Nature Boy never killed anybody, but he got a life sentence. And he can end up with I'm just saying, don't be shocked if Diddy don't come out. He's not going to be out anymore. Well, see, I don't think that's true. See, that might be true, but now that the feds are involved, it ain't gonna be as easy as mama's money or whatever he got in mind. It's not gonna be quite that easy. It's not gonna be that easy. Nisi A, you said I heard he owes 100 million on that mansion in California. He probably does. I wouldn't doubt it. He probably does. Many of these celebrities, yeah, they live large, but they also got large debts. Mhm. Yeah, well, if he does have anything with a bunch of celebrities on it, gonna be a lot of people without careers. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a lot of people losing their careers. For real. Right. That's right, Michael C. You got that right. The feds do have unlimited resources. You're now talking about a government entity coming after you. This ain't like no small time police department where you can, get some money and pay your way out. It's not quite that easy when the feds are involved. Mhm. Yeah, and I notice, y'all, I don't know if any of you notice, I notice they've been rehashing things about his time when he was with J-Lo. I noticed over the last few days, a lot of news stories are now coming out about his relationship and the things that happened when he was with J-Lo. And I was like, okay, why is this coming up now? Why is this coming up? I mean, because the J-Lo thing, that was way before Cassie. But, over the last few days, all this stuff is coming out about his relationship and the things that occurred when he was dating J-Lo. Yeah, I remember the thing about the gun. You're right, Yellow Rose, 937. I remember the allegations about the gun. And J-Lo, I don't know how many people know this. You might know. J-Lo was handcuffed up in that club they were in. That went down in a club. And she got handcuffed up in a club over that mess when the police arrived. Well, J-Lo does not talk a lot about what happened, but they said that their relationship really wasn't good. And the one thing I remember her saying when she split from him, she said he was very controlling and overbearing, and that was one of the reasons why she parted from him because she said he was very controlling. But I think he did more than just be controlling the J-Lo. I think she's just not talking. She don't feel comfortable talking about it. Now, Antoine Alston, you know what? You know what I heard about that, and I don't know how true this is. Shine went to jail for that incident. Right, up in the club and the gun and right. Shine went to jail. I don't know how true this is, and I don't know if the rest of you heard this, but I heard Diddy gave Shine $1 million for going to jail for those 10 years. That's why Shine to this very day don't have a problem with Diddy because he done got paid off. Now, I don't know if any of you heard that, but that's what I heard. Because, if you notice when Shine talks about him, he never has anything bad to say about Diddy. And I heard the reason why Shine won't say nothing bad is because Diddy paid him off for doing those 10 years behind bars. I don't know if any of you heard that, but I did. And they're saying that's why you notice he doesn't have no issue with Diddy. You would think somebody that went to jail for something they didn't do, they would be upset about it, but Shine don't seem to be upset at all. Mike C, let me see what you said. This is going so fast. I bet you Diddy misses Johnny Cochran. Yo, yeah, Johnny was a hell of a lawyer. He could get you out of anything. He sure could. I remember Johnny. Yeah, like I said, it is something I heard, and I heard it more than once about Diddy paying Shine off. And I saw probably two videos over the last few months with Shine, and he seems to be all right with Diddy. And I was like, wow, you went to jail for him and you owe. And I said, okay, well, if he got paid off, now I understand why he's fine with the whole thing. Yes, Shine got deported. Yep, I remember that. Yep, I remember that. No, it sure isn't. But Shine, I doubt if Shine came out with very much money over those 10 years. So I guess that million probably looked awfully good to him. I don't know if he's back in the US. Momo Monroe, I don't know if Shine is back in the US or not. I never heard of him coming back to live in the US. I don't know. He could be in the US. Yeah, yeah, Shine is from Belize. The president of Belize now? I don't know. I would have to look that one up. Mhm. Yeah, well, I don't know how long ago he got this money, but I heard he got that money. Now, I don't know if he got it right after he got out. I don't think this is recent. And when he got that money, from what I understand, it was from a while ago he got that money. Right. He is from Belize. Yep. Yes, he is. Many of those folks are Israelites too, y'all. Those people in Belize. That's why they look a lot like us. If you look at the population there, they look very much like us. Shine is not in America. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't exactly kept track of him over the years. Mhm. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting over these next couple of weeks to see what the feds, or if they come out to the public to say what they found. I don't know if they will or not. They may not say anything, you know, but you could best believe they are tracking. If the feds are involved, I can tell y'all right now, they're tracking Diddy's every move. He's being watched. He may not know who's watching him, but he's being watched. They know what he's doing. They know where he is. Trust me, they got somebody watching him. They got somebody watching him for real. Hmm. Shine look like Barack Obama. You think so? I don't know. I don't know if I see that much of a resemblance, but he could to you. Well, he better watch what he do, because like I said, the feds a lot of times they have been watching P. Diddy long before that raid. They probably been watching him over the last year or so. They probably been watching him for a while. Hmm. Yeah, I would not doubt that they got everything tapped on him, his phone, his any form of communication that he's using. He probably got it all tapped. Yeah, well, we'll see what comes out. And I know they had also threw Prince Harry's name out, but come to find out, um, Diddy back in the day did some kind of fundraising concert that I think Princess Di was doing for Princess Diana. And Harry and William were not even married at the time. Neither one of them. They were much younger. And Diddy did invite them to go party, but they both turned him down. They didn't go. So it's not, they were not like Andrew. They weren't like Andrew and dove all in there partying. Hmm. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm sure a lot's going to be coming out soon, or their findings, or we'll just straight up see one day he gets arrested. Yeah, well, I'll be sure is trying to get his son back. I was looking at some of the stories. He did an interview recently dragging Diddy, and he wants his son. So he was putting out, messages for his son to come home. He doesn't have to stay in that situation. He can come and stay with him. But yeah, because that's the son he had with Kim Porter. He looks just like Al B. Shore. When you look at him, he's like a carbon copy of Al B. Shore. Mhm. Yeah, I know. Well, that's why Al B. Shore was saying, I want you to he wants his son to come home. He told him to get out of that situation and come back home. Um what unibrow? You know what? Some of these people look good with unibrows. They don't all look bad with them. Some people it don't bother them. I have a couple of people in my family and their eyebrows look like that too. And some people it don't bother them. They don't do nothing about it because it don't bother them. Mhm. And some people it does bother them. They wax that stuff off, but it don't bother everybody. Yeah, I mean, it don't look bad on everybody. I've seen people with unibrows and they were not bad looking people at all. I mean, it all depends on you, but I see people even when I'm out and about, some of them got them and they just live with it. Guess that's part of them, so they don't bother it. Hmm. That's the beautiful part about all of us. We got something unique on our face that makes us really distinctive. And I guess for them, it's the unibrow. Yeah. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I do have my current event coming up later on this afternoon. So I hope you all can come back to that. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about a variety of topics, including Diddy. We're going to talk about Diddy and a lot of other topics that are out now. Again, all of the people that made donations: Mike C., Lisa Jackson, Michael Merriweather, Man Scott, and Angela. Thank you. I deeply appreciate it. And everybody, please have a wonderful day. Shalom.